Hi, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so I'll skip Brother Eli Soriano's war song and let's just cut to the chase. So here's how the debate begins, the famous debate that people are so proud of bragging about like it means everything to them.
Salamat sa Diyos, kapatid na Daniel. At ang una magtatanong dito po sa Nasugbu, Batangas, si Mr. Jerome Almodovar, isa pong ateista. Sige po, pwede na po kayo magtanong kay kapatid na Eli.
Magandang gabi po, Sir Eli Soriano. Bali, magpapakilala po muna ako. So, representative po ako ng RDNA, Rationals and Darwinists of Nasugbu. So, kami po ay mga atheist. So, bali, ang question ko po sa para po sa inyo, bilang logical po na tanong, does God has a nature? If there is, who created that nature? And if God created time and space, how can He exist without time and space? Paano po siya mag-exist nang wala pong time and space? At saka po, i-raise po natin yung question kung sasabihin niyo po na everything comes from God. So, ang pinaka-raise question po doon ay, where did God came from? Or who's the creator of God? Bali, pinatanong ko na po talaga ay kasama na po yun, can you prove God existence considering evolution is not only a theory but a fact, and also without using Bible, just rational and factual explanation supported by scientific evidences?
The questions raised by the atheist are: 1. Does God has nature? If there is, who created that nature? 2. If God created time and space, how can He exist without time and space? These are actually good questions. And I would really love to hear what Brother Eli has to say about these questions, never to mention that the video's intro song says something about asking questions and Bible got the answers. 3. If everything comes from God, where did God came from, or who created God? 4. Can you prove God's existence without using the Bible, but just by rational and factual explanations supported by scientific evidences?
Salamat kapatid sa pagdalo mo, unang-una, yung sinasabi mo na how can God create nature if He has nature Himself? At anong nature naman ang nag-create sa Kanya? Yan ang sabi mo no?
Yes, these questions.
Ganito kapatid, unang-una, hindi doon tayo dapat mag-umpisa sana Pero kung mo yan ang tanong mo, doon tayo mag-uusap. Walang capacity yung computer para i-analyze niya kung saan siya galing. The enormous capacity of the computer is unquestionable. It manages practically the entire earth now. It manages banking systems, telecommunication systems, satellite systems, etc. And we are now actually on the mercy of computer so that you can talk with me and I can talk with you sa isang kondisyon na napakalayo natin. We are at the mercy of the computer. Granting na ikaw ay computer, do you have any way to analyze why did you exist? The computer has no way analyzing how did it exist. Dahil hindi alam ng computer kung sino gumawa sa kanya, paano siya naging computer, hindi alam ng computer yon. But it doesn't mean na walang gumawa sa computer. It doesn't mean na walang gumawa sa computer.
Really? What's that supposed to mean? The analogy of Brother Eli Soriano doesn't work. The two things he tried to make an analogy here are too dissimilar, so why would that mean they have the same cause? The human brains are composed of neurons, and the computer's processor is composed of transistors arranged in logical ways to perform mathematical calculations, like additions, subtractions, etc. On the other hand, we don't even fully understand how our brain's neural networks actually works to perform what it does, so to conclude that they have the same cause, that some intelligent agent are needed to cause them both to exist doesn't follow. If the two are too dissimilar, how they work and what they are composed of, why would we conclude that they both have similar origin? Computers operate in binary, zeros and ones, or on and off switches. You cannot be plugged into your home's electrical outlet and connect to the internet and send a ping packet to Filipinos here in Philippines while you're somewhere else running away from you know what. Computers don't sell things nobody has seen like heaven for money to other gullible computers. This poor analogy is garbage and doesn't follow logically. It occurred to me that you don't know and understand how our brain works, and you probably don't even know and understand how computers work too. That will explain why you used this stupid analogy. Besides, even if we throw logic out of the window and say just for argument's sake that Brother Eli is right, that our brain has a creator, why would it automatically be the personal, omnipotent, omniscient, omnibenevolent, omnipresent, omni-everything being that is timeless and spaceless? Why? It could be some ultra-beings who created a universe for fun, or maybe the universe that we know of is just a simulation created by some ultra-pan-dimensional beings. Or it could equally be the flying spaghetti monster or the invisible pink unicorn who farted the universe and our brains into existence. What do you think? There has to be a creator, right? Or even creators. There is as much evidence to support these causes as your God, which is zero. And even if we, again, grant Brother Eli is right, that it is some personal, omni-everything being, why does it have to be your God? It could be Brahma, Marduk, Asa, Odin, Allah, or any other creator gods. These deities are as legit as you think your God is. Not to mention the logical contradictions that comes with something that has those godly attributes like omniscience, omnipotence, omnibenevolence, which exists outside of space and time. Your logic sucks, my friend. For your conclusion that some God created our brains, you need to prove your God exists first, and then you have to prove that it is your particular God that actually created our brains. Let's say you're an engineer, and you designed and built a computer that forgets important things, even go insane against its own free will, even go and eat excrements, or even butcher and literally eats its loved ones, and other terrible things your computer can do when its processor doesn't work properly. Then you are a stupid, incompetent engineer. Any engineer who creates a computer that sometimes see wrong things like illusions or hear things that are not there, that computer sucks, and so is the engineer that creates it. If our feeble brains were created by your God, then it just means that your God sucks.
Walang atheist na maniniwalang ang computer just existed like that. Na nag-evolve ang computer na galing sa bakal, yung bakal by their own free will, nagkasama-sama, tapos kumuha sila ng plastic chip, tapos kumuha sila ng kung ano-anong mga ingredients, tapos nabuo yung computer mag-isa. No modern human, in his wildest imagination, that will believe that the computer assembled itself through evolution or through natural formation.
No one else has imagined this thing except you, pal. If you think this is how evolution works, then you really need to understand devolution first before you try to refute it. You are making yourself sound silly and stupid. Besides, your analogy doesn't work, my friend. We know computers doesn't reproduce, doesn't have a DNA to replicate and sometimes mutate and cause changes to the organism's body like we do. So what's with the analogy? Aren't it stupid?
The computer was invented by a scientific mind. Yun ang totoo ron. Ngayon, ang masasabi ko sa iyo, kapatid, our brains is far better than the most complex of computers we have now. The brains of humans.
So by comparing the computers to that of human brain, Brother Eli is essentially saying that the brains of human was created by a magical mind, the mind of God. That the mind of God is far, 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 far better than that of a humans. As I have already said, this analogy is utterly wrong. We know computers were built by us. And on the other hand, we infer from tons of evidences that along with our body, the human brain evolved from simpler form to what it is now, and continue evolving. If you find this confusing, please spend some time learning what evolution actually is, and stop being a lazy ass by just declaring that a magical being created our brain and us into existence. It may be simpler to say God did it, but it is also quite stupid. The theory of evolution is so strongly supported by tons of hard evidence. There are even more hard evidence that supports the said theory than the theory of gravity or quantum mechanics. If this God created our brains, he must be incompetent and badly sucks at designing things, for he designed a brain that gets messed up, which handles memory unreliably, and is subject to illusions, depression, madness, and unhealthy way of sorting things out like confirmation bias and thus being so easily swayed by fallacies. So in short, he created a brain that are so prone to errors which cause so much havoc and troubles that happened, happens, and will happen in this world. He even created brains that aren't equal. Some are geniuses, retard, or both, and some or most cannot comprehend a simple logic. Which is why I say Brother Reli's argument of God-created brains is an admission that the perfect and omniscient God created brains that are stupid and some are even useless. They are born mentally challenged. Another problem with this analogy, that the computer is so complex it is unimaginable to say it just evolved by itself. Therefore, there has to be something or someone that is far superior who created it, which Brother Eli calls God. Then it also follows that God, being so vastly more complex and intelligent, must also have a creator that is far superior than God himself. Brilliant logic, eh? Let's try to call it here God squared. Then using Brother Reli's logic again, since God squared is so complex, there must be some intelligent mind who is far, far superior to it, which we'll call here God cube. And so on and on and on, to infinite regress. Does this make any sense to you? This computer brain therefore creator logic is garbage. Brains, all the way down. So as shown, Brother Reli's argument of brain is so complex therefore God is self-defeating. You asked who created God? Gods. All the way down. But a simpler and more believable explanation that doesn't involve invoking magical beings that cannot be observed or tested, and doesn't involve infinite regress, is evolution. And here's the best part, it is supported by a mountain of evidence to back it up. Testable, observable, and verifiable. Our complex brain's evolution can be traced to other animals that genetically related to us, and we can observe that their brains are simpler than ours. If we trace down and descend to the lower tree of the animal kingdom, we can observe that the evolution is going simpler and simpler down to the single-celled organism. No infinite regress. Same with our eyes. Our eyes evolved from simple mechanism to what we have. But of course some animals evolve a pair of eyes that are much better than ours. That is how evolution works. We aren't special.
Ngayon, kung ang ating pag-uusapan ay yung sinasabi mo na and if God created time and space, how can He exist without time and space? You see? Where did God come from? And who is the creator of God? Ayon, yun ang mga tanong ng pangkaraniwan na ng mga hindi naniniwala sa Diyos.
Yes, these questions.
Pero bibigyan kita ng ideya, kapatid, kung ba't ako naniniwala sa Diyos.
Actually, nobody wants to know why you believe in God because we know already your answer will be because the Bible says so. The atheist guy asked the questions he wants answered, so I hope you answer the questions. That's the point of this program, right?
Naniniwala ka siguro at dapat mong maniwala, you are duty bound, you are obliged to believe na sa mundo ngayon meron tayong mga existing manuscripts that have existed for the last 1600 years. Isa dyan yung tinatawag nating mga manuscripts ng Biblia.
Jesus Christ, this crap again? Why is Eli Soriano musing with this excrement again?
Na kung tawagin ngayon ay Codex Sinaiticus. It was written by hand in the 4th century of our common era.
So it's antique, therefore it's true? It is not even relevant. What's it has to do with the existence of God?
If you are an atheist, you believe in science. You believe in science. And the science of carbon dating determines the undetermined age of artifacts, mga records ng fossils, and etc. At wala namang pagtatalo, we have documents on Earth that have existed way back 1900 years ago.
Dropping the terms scientific and science doesn't mean anything. Just answer the question already and start making sense.
I will show you one. Dito doon sa isang museo. Kung gusto mong puntahan, para maniwala ka, siguro naniniwala ka naman Meron tayong mga records ng napakatatandang record sa mundo. Ito yung sinasabi ko. A fragment of the Gospel of John, which according to scientific studies existed in the year 120 to 150 CE. Pakibasa mo ngayon, kapatid na Daniel.
P52 is the oldest known manuscript fragment of the New Testament. Description, language, Greek, medium papyrus. Approximate date, C. 120 to 150 CE. Place of discovery, Egypt. Date of discovery, acquisition, 1920. Current location, John Rylands, Library, Manchester, England.
Yan. Kung gusto mo makita, kapatid, yan ay nasa John Rylands Library sa Manchester, England. Yan ay 120 to 150 CE ang edad niyan. So, humigit kumulang nasa mga 2,000 taon na yung manuscript na yan. Hawak natin yan sa mundo. Humanity has the record. Ngayon, we will go back in some epoch of time. Napuntahan ko yung sa British Library. Nakita ko yung isa sa mga kopya ng tinatawag na Codex Sinaiticus that was written in the 4th century, ika-4 na siglo. Nandoon ako, tinitignan kong personal yung tinatawag na Codex Sinaiticus. Kopya ng Biblia yan na nasa British Library ngayon.
Did you read it?
And that is open to the investigation of all atheists. If by chance any atheist will not believe, that is open for investigation. It is in the British Museum. Ano ibig kong sabihin? Ba't ko sinasabi ito, kapatid? Pinapatunayan ko lang na yung kopya ng Biblia, hindi yan ginawa ngayon. Ang Biblia existed for the last 3,600 years of human history. The Bible was written as far back as 3,600 years, and the latest manuscripts of the Bible were written about 2,000 years ago. And that was the book of Revelation and the book of John.
So what's that supposed to mean? Because it is written a couple of 1,000 years ago, therefore it's true? The Vedas, Homer's literary texts, Egyptian Book of the Dead, Epic of Gilgamesh, most of which are older than the Bible, and which was even the Bible was plagiarized from, are all therefore what's written on these ancient texts are also true. So because these books were written long ago, therefore Osiris and Isis, or Marduk or Enki and Enlil are proven real. These ancient texts were written in clays. It is older than the Bible. Some of these ancient texts are older than the Bible by millennia. And guess what, brother? These ancient texts also live in museums, and you are duty-bound, obliged to believe it too. Your words, not mine. So does that mean Marduk is true? Enki and Enlil are real gods? Seriously, my friend? Seriously? Brother Reli's logic is that of a 2-year-old child. By the way, those fragmentary tablets that records the creation of man by Sumerians, among other creation myths of ancient civilizations, their parchments and all, They are also open for investigation by atheists like you. You don't believe in Isis' existence, right? Or you are also an atheist towards Enki, Anu, and Enlil? How about Zeus? Do you want to investigate the documents about Zeus that existed since thousands of years ago? In your video you explained why you believed in God, and said that because in the world now we have existing clay tablets that have existed for the last 3,000 years. Among those are what we now call the Enuma Elish. It was written by hand in 1100 BCE or much older. Enuma Elish is much older than Brother Eli's Bible. In fact, Brother Eli's Bible, or the Book of Genesis in particular, is just a plagiarized version of Enuma Elish. You can investigate this ancient text, my friends. Humanity has this record. If by chance Brother Eli will not believe, this ancient text is open for investigation. Brilliant.